Yo, what up guys? Coach Dan is in the building. I teach you how to build a symmetrical proportional aesthetic body. Also, if you're interested in the services I have to provide as a coach, go ahead and click the link in the description and apply for my 12-week program or my 6-month mentorship where I work one-on-one with you how to build a silver era physique. But if you're not interested in any of that stuff, I have another offer for you as well. I actually offer a free coaching call where I call it a breakthrough strategy session where we break down what's working in your routine, what's not, what's working in your diet, and what's not, and I help you create a new strategy free of charge. The reason I do that is because I know that if I serve people powerfully, a percentage of them are going to want to work with me to implement the new plan that we create. So if that sounds exciting, click the link in the description. But if that's something you're not interested in, go ahead and just move on, and we'll move on with the video. So with that being said, let's break down why I think George Peterson isn't classic. So let's jump right into it, right? Okay, here we go. I have a list of why I don't think he's classic. And before I say anything, I'm not hating on these bodybuilders whatsoever. I respect what they do, that they get on stage and they work really hard to make all this stuff happen. So none of these videos I do is hate. It's all just constructive criticism. It's not me saying, oh, you suck, this guy's terrible, he's trash. No, it's like I'm just saying, hey, you know what? If he worked on this and if he worked on that, he'd probably be a lot more classic. Just like I did with the Wesley Business video. And this like I did with the Arash video. So I'm not hating on these guys. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm not hating. I actually like these guys. I think it's cool what they're doing. I just feel like if they did it differently, they would probably be a lot more classic and people would appreciate them a little bit more. So anyways, let's break it down. So first reason is that he has a very heavy upper body, and I'll show you why. Okay, look at these pictures. There's one. See, his upper body is very dense. Like, I feel like if you, oh, my laptop is so much. Whoops, let me move it down a bit. Sorry about that, guys. But look at his upper body. His upper body is very dense. Okay. Now, I feel like if you were just to slap some men's physique shorts on this guy, he would be perfect for men's physique. I don't know why. Maybe if you shred it down a little more and had this type of look on the right on stage for men's physique, he'd be perfect. He just has the perfect upper body density for a men's physique, but I just don't think he's in the right place to compete in classic just because his upper body is so dense and his legs don't have a lot of mass in them. Like it almost looks like, and I know he was a open men's bodybuilder back in the day before he did classic. But I'm just wondering how he got his upper body so damn dense, and his legs just don't match up with it. Like, and it also could be that he's got high calf insertions, that his calves look like they're small. But from this angle, it's just that his upper body is very dense, and it's not proportionate with the legs. So that's an issue. Back then you had a lot of guys who had great proportions with their legs and their upper body. Like Tom Platz was the only exception where his legs were bigger than his upper body. And I'm not the one saying that. Steve Reeves was actually the one who said that. He said, there's a lot of good bodybuilders out there, but, Tom Platz could have been one of them, but it's just that his legs were just too dense. They were too big to match his upper body, and therefore it threw off his proportions and his symmetry. So here's another example of just something that's being thrown off. The proportions and the symmetry are off just because of his upper body being so dense. Okay, so there's one. His V-taper isn't that great. I feel like if he worked on it a bit more, he could possibly be considered more classic. So here's what I mean by it. Look at this. It's a good picture right here. See right here on the left, he's very wasted. Very tapered. Very flat. And then we got George on the right, who's got sort of a bottle look, a little more of a bottle look, right? See, it's not very tapered. Very tapered. Not very tapered. Okay, so that's another thing. I feel like maybe if he just practiced vacuuming a bit, because I feel like that's sort of an Achilles heel, because I think maybe he's just naturally not wasted, but I mean not naturally not like have a small waist. But I think if you use the vacuum to make it look like a little bit more where like he has a smaller waist to give the illusion, the old school illusion, I feel like it would definitely help out. So I feel like they should really start making vacuuming a procedure, sort of a rule that, hey, you know what? You got to be able to do the vacuum on stage or you can't compete. Like, they should really make that, just because, like, I think it would be a lot very beneficial to the bodybuilders who don't do it, because it would make their waist even smaller. Because I feel like that's one of the reasons why the old school bodybuilders had such small waists, is because they vacuumed a lot and they practice it. And not only that, it also adds to the illusion that your waist is smaller than it actually is. So I feel like if this is something he practiced and actually just sort of worked on tapering the waist a little bit more, he could definitely, it could be the obliques too. That's what it looks like. It could be just the obliques, but I feel like those are just damages that he created when he was doing men's bodybuilding back in the day, where it's like, oh, you know what? Let me just get bigger. Let me just get bigger. And I feel like that's kind of from him, and this guy's a heavyweight. Keep in mind, I think he's a heavyweight. So if I'm him transitioning to being just like, hey, big, just like to like, okay, let's stop being big. Let's focus on the proportions, the symmetry, and the aesthetics, and let's try to make this happen. And I think that's what's going on here. He's transitioning from something that wasn't to something that is. So he's not coming from the right place. So I feel like if he worked on this, he'd probably come out a little bit better. Next up is that he's very big. Like the pictures I showed you before. He was a heavyweight bodybuilder back in the day. And he's very dense. He's very big. Like a lot of the guys in like the only guy I could think that was really big in like bodybuilding back in the day was like Lou Ferrigno. I think he was like 6'3", 6'4". I know Arnold was like 6'1", I think 6'1" or 6'2". But Lou Ferrigno was no. I think Lou Ferrigno was even bigger than that. I'm sorry, he might have been 6'5". I don't remember, but he's very tall. And I did see him one time at the Huntington Beach. They were having like a parade, right? And Lou Ferrigno was in the back of a truck. And he's a really big guy. He's really big. So I don't know how tall he is. I didn't really do my research on him too much. But I mean, just that I noticed that he was a heavyweight bodybuilder. So for him transitioning from a heavyweight bodybuilder to a class physique competitor isn't the best transition, just because like a lot of the bodybuilders back in the day, I mean, you guys got like Arnold, who sort of, I guess, could be categorized as the heavyweight bodybuilders. But even then, he doesn't look like this. You know what I mean? Like, there's something about this that isn't right. So I feel like it's just his shape. His shape, that his obliques are pretty thick. That's what sort of adds to the effect that he just looks kind of like a bottle. I'm not hating. I don't know how else to describe it in a non like dickish way, and I'm not trying to come off as a dick and like, oh, this guy fucking sucks. I'm just saying his genetics are not in his favor, or the way he's developed in his physique is not favorable in classic physique right now. Maybe it is in bodybuilding, but not in classic physique. So that's just the truth of it. All right. Another thing that his posing really isn't classic. All right. So here we got him doing a side chest, and then here we got Casey Viator. I was gonna use Lou Ferrigno just because Lou Ferrigno's sort of a bigger bodybuilder, but look at the way he poses. Like it's just not very classic. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't pull the rib cage out. Doesn't actually really show the chest. And I feel like his legs, and I want to get to that another point as well, but I think like this is not the only example I want to show you of him classic of posing that's not very classic, but here's the other one. Let me pull it up. Like, look at the way they pose. Look at the way these two guys poses. All right. Like, this guy poses like Terrence. Is it Terrence Ruffin? I can't remember, but Ruffin Diesel. I know Ruffin Diesel off Instagram. He's the first guy that I saw that was like super classic, and I'm like, dude, this guy's dead on classic. Like, if they don't choose this guy to be the Olympia someday, like, then what the hell are the judges doing? Like, look at the way he poses compared to this guy. Like, his is, I'm gonna be honest with you, it looks a little goofy. Like, his posing is just kind of goofy. Like, it doesn't look like it's classic. It just looks like he's a bodybuilder who's trying to pose like a classic bodybuilder. So let me show you another one. Like, look at this. Look at the way he positions his quads, the positions the legs, the feet, the upper body. Like, look. How do I put it into the context? Because it's like, if you've seen enough classic bodybuilders, you know that it's very important to the arm positioning, the feet positioning. It's all very important to add to the look on stage, and this guy just doesn't have it. Like, I don't think he knows how to manipulate his physique to make it look more classic, but it doesn't seem like he does. So his posing it looks a little goofy, like he's never really practiced or learned from someone who's very classic. Like, I feel like if he picked up a classic bodybuilding coach, maybe someone like Frank Zane or someone like Samir Banu, it would probably be very beneficial to him, just because those guys are really good posers on stage. Because I know they're there. Like I know Samir Banu does coaching in person because I've seen it before. I've had friends who've been coached by him, and I know Frank Zane does definitely do like coaching as well because he coached Sadiq. So I feel like if they worked on bringing these arms up a little bit more, tapering the waist, do maybe practicing a vacuum, position his feet differently, his quads differently, so that they're not like trying too hard to show the separation, like more effortless, like this type of look, he would look a lot better. Okay, but it's like I think his pose is just kind of goofy. It's not very classic, so he needs to work on that. And I'm not saying I'm a perfect freaking poser. I don't have the perfect physique either. I'm just saying like, for my own critiqueness and from what I've seen on stage before, I know that a lot of tweaks can be made so that someone looks really good on stage. Like Terrence, Rough and Diesel, I know before on stage, like he worked on his posing and he worked on his physique a lot, and this guy looks phenomenal right now. Like he looks really classic. So, okay, the last thing I want to talk about is that his legs don't match his upper body. You see, his upper body is very dense. Okay, so let me pull it up. Good picture right here. This is the same pictures I used earlier. Like his upper body is very dense, and his legs don't have the mass to match up with the upper body. And I feel like these are 2 different years where he competed. This one could be like sort of a guest posing. I don't really know. This is more like a stage shot, possibly on the Olympia stage, and it is on the Olympian stage. But look at the upper body. It's just these calves, man. I don't know if it's just the insertions or is that he lacks calves mass, and also it's also probably the position, how he chooses to position his feet, because that's important. Because I feel like he's positioning his feet in a way so it's like I want to show the quads more. I feel like he doesn't want to sacrifice the quad separation and the actual presentation of the quads to show the calves, to really show off those calves, you know? Because if you pull up this shot right here, you see 2 different things that are going on right here, right? Okay, maybe this guy's just got better legs than him, but look at the way they position their feet to present their legs. All right, there's 2 different type of presentations that's going on right here, and it looks like this guy really gives a shit about showing off the separation in his quads, the definition, the mass in his quads, but is sacrificing the calf presentation to make this happen. Whereas this guy isn't really sacrificing it to really show off his physique. And I feel like this is something that judges really kind of like knock people off for it. They're like they want to see the muscle definition and the separation in the areas, and they're willing to throw out the whole classic physique image, the type of look, just to see that development. That's why you guys see like Breon, some guys like Breon, where these guys look right here like Terrence Ruffin. I'm sorry, Ruffin Diesel. That's what I call him on Instagram. Like Ruffin, like this guy, like they would prefer Breon and this guy and George just type of look over these guys just because of the presentation. And I think it's just because it's like, okay, we want to see the muscle development. All right, show us the muscle development. We don't give a shit how you do it. We just want to see the muscle development. Okay, and I feel like that's what's going on here. This is why they choose these guys over this guy. And I think someone made a video about this guy was robbed, and I haven't seen it yet, but I'm gonna watch it and I want to see what's going on. But if this is the case that he was robbed, yes, it was robbed. Just because, like, I feel like the judges aren't really giving a shit about presentation too much. It's like we don't care about the old school bodybuilding look. We don't care how they look back then and how they presented their physiques. We care about how we're doing it now. Like that's what they're doing. And I don't think that's right. Just because it's like us fans are expecting, when we see classic physique, we're expecting 60s, 70s, and in the late 80s, late 70s, right? But we're getting guys that look like this and presenting their physiques that look like this, and we're disappointed because this is not what we want. We want something more like this, right? This is what we want to see. This looks classic to us. This doesn't, and the judges are choosing this over that, and it's like that's not right. That's not the way it should be. Go back to the judging how it was back in the day. Go back to the judging how it was back when they presented their physiques like this, not like that. That's not right. So that's my take on it. That's why I think that this guy isn't classic. That's just my own personal opinion. Leave a comment on what you think below. I'm really interested in hearing what you have to say. I like the comments that people left earlier about Arash. They really enjoyed. Yeah, I feel like you guys really enjoyed the Wesley Vicious video. You guys left a bunch of comments on that, so I really appreciate that. I mean, some were hate, and I definitely defended you guys. I didn't let you guys in. Like honestly, if you're gonna come and hate on this video, like I'm saying, I'm not hate on this video, and I just told you I'm not the best bodybuilder out there, and I'm trying my best. But I'm just giving my own opinion, and I feel like I'm speaking for a lot of the people when I say these things. And a lot of people were like, "Yeah, I agree with that. You said it all. You're right." And I'm like, "Yeah." And I'm speaking up for other people because not everybody has a voice, and I'm trying to give out my voice. And hopefully, this voice can impact the industry and impact classic physique in the Olympia stage, and how the judges see classic bodybuilding, and actually make a freaking change about this. Because this isn't right. This is not what we want. We want something like this. This is what we want. We don't want this. We want that. Okay? So go ahead and leave a comment on what you think. With that being said, subscribe for more videos like this. Give this video a thumbs up. Thanks for watching. I'm Old School Dan. I'm gone. Peace. Oh, no.